So would you believe me if I told you that Asus made a USB microphone for $179? Let's see how this thing sounds and if it's worth the $179 price tag. And yes, you are listening to it at the moment. So here we have the box of the ROG Carnyx. Again, this is $179 USB gaming microphone, and it also has a ton of nice features. We'll go over the specs real quick. We have a 25mm condenser capsule up to 192 kilohertz with 24-bit sampling rate, a built-in pop filter into the front of the microphone as well, a multifunctional control knob that is super simple and very easy to use, a one-touch mute button at the top of the microphone, and then RGB lighting, a built-in high-pass filter, and a very nice premium metal shock mount with some really nice anti-vibration cables as well. And this mic does capture in the cardioid pattern. Quick exterior look at the microphone. This one is finished in black, but they do also have a white version as well. At the top, you do have this nice quick touch sensor for the mute. I do wish that the RGB would stay red, but you do have this persistent red LED at the top anyways when your mic is muted. But if it was a little bit more obvious on the front, that would be cool too. But either way, it is a very easy indication to know that your mic is currently muted. The RGB lighting is quite nice too. We'll go over the software in just a second. And then the metal base is pretty much just made so that you can game with this thing right in front of you. The mic has to be pretty close to your face to get the absolute best sound. So in a second, we're gonna go over the software, and then we're gonna show you the different performance levels of the microphone based on where you have it in your setup. And then if you do not want to use the desk stand, you can just take off the base with a coin, and just like that, you can now mount it to a traditional mic boom arm. You'll be hanging it upside down, but basically you're just gonna wanna have this like aimed at your face still to get the absolute best audio quality. And if I'm not mistaken, there is a 1/4-inch thread. So here we have the noise gate set to 80, perfect voice set to 60, which is basically like a treble booster. The noise gate obviously is just gonna cut down on the amount of background noise that your microphone lets in until you start to speak. So you can set it at different levels. Like here's the noise gate set to 0, just for a little bit of difference. I'm gonna stop talking now so you guys can hear how good or bad the noise gate actually is. You guys let me know in the comment section below. And then let's crank the noise gate all the way up to 100% so that you guys can hear how that sounds as well. And then for the equalizer, I do have it on the dark preset, which is pretty much just going to bump your low end up a little bit to give you a slightly more podcasty sound. I do prefer the natural equalizer. I think that this one does sound the best with the perfect voice on. I don't think that the perfect voice is 100% necessary when you have it in the natural preset. The bright one is okay. This may work for some voices if your voice is just a little bit too deep, but I think the natural with or without the perfect voice preset is just fine. And the perfect voice, I think once you start to crank it past 60, it just gets a little bit too extreme with boosting that high end. And then let's also check out the high pass filter as well. I'm just going to press and hold the button on the front to quickly disable the high pass filter, but it's nice that you can also do it in the software as well. So this is with the high pass filter off. And this is back with the high pass filter on. And then going through the settings, we have the playback for the built-in headphone jack, audio quality, so you have 16 or 24-bit, and then up to 192 kilohertz. And then you can also turn side tone on and off as well if you want to be able to hear yourself through that headphone port. And then you also have the RGB effects that you can change over as well. So I just have mine currently on the rainbow mode. The built-in headphone jack is actually pretty good. I don't feel like I'm losing any fidelity in sound compared to like what I normally have it plugged into, which is like an Elgato Wave XLR. I should really be able to tell in a minute here once we get in the game, but even just like loading up, and I will say like 2042, even though the game is not that great compared to previous Battlefields, the menu starting up and all that, like that sound has always been very intense. I'll say this game is still like so stuttery. I just don't understand like how they could go from making Battlefield 4 to making this game. And like it's only this game that's stuttery too. And I'm like, maybe I should optimize my PC, but like I don't want to inadvertently mess up something else. What the heck? I don't want to inadvertently mess up something else about my PC just because this game acts weird, because it's like it's literally no other game. The headphone fidelity is quite good. Like I don't have any complaints with like the audio and everything. Like I would even say like this sounds good. Like this is definitely something you could play on without having any issues playing on it. Oh shoot. No issues playing on it at all. All right, guys, so we are doing a quick mic test in Battlefield 2042 with the ROG Carnyx. Hopefully you guys can, ooh, a nice little multi-KO. But hopefully you guys can't really hear, like, you know, the keyboard sound effects and all that stuff. You're piecing them up. Oh, I almost got. See, I tried to take out the sentry gun, but I didn't shoot it enough, and it shot me in the back. It was a coin flip if I was gonna get that guy right in front of me or not. But yeah, what can you do? So hopefully you guys can't really hear the keyboard clicks and the mouse clicking and all that stuff too much. But let's move it back a couple feet. I wonder how much more of the peripherals that this microphone is picking up now that it's directly in front of the peripherals. Like the peripherals are in the way. Honestly, like I have the mic like right in front of my monitor, and it was blocking like the kill feed. So a couple things that I found out about the ROG Carnyx while recording that last video, because your friends on Discord probably won't say anything about your mic levels peaking if it seems like within like the normal range. But based on my previous recordings, which are pretty much isolated events, like I'm not, you know, getting overly excited or shouting or anything like that. But I do think that this thing could use a little bit more range control. I'm trying to figure out how to put this, but what is it called? Is it called a condenser? I think it might be, but basically like when you have a huge difference in like your levels where like you get louder and then quieter again and then louder again. I feel like this mic doesn't do that great of a job at adopting to whatever like your current voice pattern is. Also like based on the distance and like how far away you may or may not be to the microphone, and just adjusting those levels to really equalize them out. I do think that that could be one thing that the Carnyx could definitely benefit from. Otherwise, being a cardioid pattern mic, you definitely have to go for something that is going to perform well in front of your face. And I will say that while gaming, it really didn't pick up like the keyboard noises, the mouse clicks, or anything like that. So ideally, to have it be directly in front of you, it will do a good job at not picking up your loud keyboard and mouse, as long as it's not too loud. Like I don't have, you know, razor green switches on my keyboard. So it's good that it does a good job at rejecting, you know, those mundane noises that we're used to hearing in like people's live streams and whatnot. I want to say it's called a compressor and expander, which I think, I could be wrong, but I think that is the actual tool that people would normally use like in OBS or like in microphone configurations and whatnot. I'm clearly a microphone noob, so you guys know, like I have the most easy mode setups, honestly, for my microphone for the past few years. I have not put much thought into it other than how do I make this really easy and hit record and it sound good. So the Carnyx is okay at that. I wouldn't say that this is going to be a very easy solution, and I don't think that they give you fully all of the tools to make the mic sound exactly how you would want. Like that would take some third-party software outside of the Asus Armory Crate. So with that being said, I would like to see a lot more digital settings available for the ROG Carnyx built into the Asus Armory Crate, and also like a compressor and expander added to the software to really even out those levels while you're gaming. I don't know how fast it's gonna have to, you know, be able to process that, but that would be a great addition.